So I just logged into the Facebook Ads Manager here today and noticed a new feature. I was getting ready to set up an ad, generate some leads, and this jumped out at me. Now it's probably been a day or two since I've run a lead gen ad, and I usually do this through Power Editor, so I don't see any reason why this wouldn't be available there. But I just went to the regular Ads Manager today for whatever reason, and I noticed that I was going to create a conversion ad, and they have introduced split testing native to the Facebook ads platform, and this is the first time I'm seeing it. So I figured we'd just get a little screen capture here and go through this together. So it says you can do 2 or 3 ad sets with different delivery strategies to see which one gives you the best conversions. Okay, so before I got to this page, I just checked a little tick box that says I want to run a split test. Everything else was the same except that box was now available. And it says, how does split testing work? Your audience is divided into unique groups. Members of your audience are randomly divided into non-overlapping groups. See this ad sets with identical creative. Each ad set has one distinct difference or variable. So sounds like you're going to run the same ad, but you might target in one group 23 to 50-year-olds who like baseball, and in the next group you might target 23 to 50-year-olds who like football. I think is what we're looking at here. How does it work? Performance is measured and compared. It says success of each ad set is measured by your campaign objective. So if you're looking for a conversion, it's recorded and compared. The best performing ad set wins. So that sounds like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. We're going to run the same ad, the same creative, but to 2 different ad sets, which makes perfect sense. And then you'll see non-overlapping. So someone's not going to see both of them, I think is the idea there. After the test is complete, you'll get notification email containing the results, and then you can develop your ad strategy from there. Okay, so let's see what that means. Let's see. It says, what do you want to test? You want to test delivery optimization, test your audience, how different audience targeting strategies compare, or placement as far as mobile, desktop, so on and so forth. So you can set your budget, and I don't know. So basically what you would do is you'd set your split test budget, and you could do either an even split or a weighted split. Say for instance, maybe you had maybe you're running a second split test, and you have already run one split test, and you got one ad that's doing well, so you want to send 90% of your traffic to it, but you got another ad set you want to test against it, because you should always be testing, so you can run 10% of your traffic towards that ad set. So that would be helpful there. And let's see, of course you would select your conversion events. Let's see, we'll just select a conversion event, and there we go, just like that, and move on and see what happens here. Once again, this is the first time I'm going through it, so we'll see. What do we want to test? We want to test how different audience targeting strategies compare. And you would just have to, let's see what happens here. Okay, yeah, so you would then select audience set 1, and it looks like you would have to select, you'd have to set an audience ahead of time. So maybe if you were doing a retargeting, this would be super awesome, or if you wanted to create a specific audience. So you would create your audience ahead of time. As probably most of you who are watching this know how to do this, but under your audiences there, and then you would just select 2 different audiences and run them against each other. Let's see what else you can test here. Delivery optimization. And if you go and select the delivery optimization, you could, you can either do conversions, impressions, link clicks, or daily unique reach, I guess is what you can split test here. Obviously, we're doing conversions, so you could run, for instance, maybe like a 1-day conversion window versus 7-day conversion window. Or you could also run like an automatic bid amount, which would be cool. This would be really helpful. You could run do an automatic bid amount versus a manual bid amount and see which is getting you better results. So that's super helpful as well. So that's really cool. as well, and then you're targeting the same audience. So there's that variable there, and then what's the other variable is placement, and we already kind of briefly touched on this without even knowing exactly what it was. One, you could do automatic placement, and say two, you could do specific, or you could do two specifics and just make them a little bit different as well. So that would be pretty helpful there as well. All right, so that's that. The minimum budget for these settings is $4,000. So this is not a beginner ad strategy here, but if you're out there generating a bunch of leads, this is pretty cool stuff. All right, so let's just set this up there and see what happens. Continue on. Oh, it's probably because of the number of days that I selected. That's what it was. Sorry. So if we go back to our ad set here and see, there's probably, let's go down here and see, where was that at? If we just ran this for 1 day, for instance, let's see what happens. Okay, so if we run it for 1 day and we run an even split, it looks like your minimum for this would be $800. Let's see, so they want you to do this for at least 3 days. So it's good to know. And required minimum budget is $800. So that's what it looks like. So if you're doing an ad, let's see, delivery optimization. Let's see if that changes. That's for placement. Let's see if that changes if we do audience, because I think that's what I'd be most interested in. So if you had audiences, then it looks like, yeah, they want you to run for 3 days probably. Yeah, they want you to run it for at least 3 days, which makes sense. And your minimum budget is going to be $800. It looks like, to run the conversion optimization with the native split test on Facebook. So that's good to know. I mean, all really cool stuff to know. And then as you move on, you create your ad like normal with your creative, and you would just send it to different audiences and stuff like that. So there you go. I mean, there's just a little introduction to a new feature that I noticed today on the Ads Manager, which is native split testing of conversion ads. So yeah, definitely cool. Really worth checking out if you're doing a fair amount of advertising there. All right, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.